Hi all, I hope you all are doing great. I am back with another thrilling story to share with you. McDonald's is one of the world's most renowned fast food restaurants, and it may be very convenient because McDonald's is open 24 hours a day. However, even in such a pleasant and cheerful environment, unexpected things can happen that you won't be able to forget. Something similar occurred to me. This story is somehow there to set an example for everyone. A story so horrific that I'll never forget it happened 5 years ago when I was 19 and in desperate need of a job since I wanted to pay off my college fees in order to complete my studies. To make my boss happy, I had to work whatever shift he asked me to do, whether it was a night or a day shift, and for as many hours as he wanted. At this point, I'd been working at McDonald's for 8 months, but had only worked day shifts. My employer took me into his office one day and informed me that because I'd been working at McDonald's for months and had accumulated a lot of experience, I was ready for night shifts. He also warned me that night hours can be quite quiet and asked if I had any problems with it. I told him that no, it wouldn't. I'd begin my night shifts on Saturday working from 12 a.m. to 5 p.m. When I arrived at McDonald's at 12 p.m. on Saturday, my boss told me that my jobs were to refill the ketchup, mayonnaise, and barbecue sauce bottles, clean the floor, and clean the tables. He handed me a long list of tasks to complete after telling me everything. McDonald's was rather quiet that night, but I didn't notice the silence because I was too preoccupied with my job. I needed to get a lot done, and as I was working, I never really noticed the time, and suddenly it was 2 o'clock. I observed that no customers had arrived at McDonald's up until that point, but that was great with me because I just wanted to do my work quickly. Since tomorrow I had to report it to the manager, I was arranging coffee cups on the table when I suddenly felt like I was being watched. It was a weird feeling, but I took no notice of it. I told myself that since I had no experience of working late, the weird feeling was because of me staying up. Suddenly, my eyes glanced at the window. When I looked out, I saw a strange black shape like someone was standing right there, staring at me, and I just thought that must be my imagination who would stand outside at this time of night. I continued my work again, started cleaning the tables a bit later. My attention went to the window again now. It seemed that the black shape was closer, but I reassured myself that I was just seeing I was busy doing my work when I heard a noise, and when I did, my fears were confirmed by a demon whose eyes were red like blood was staring at and constantly banging on the window. I couldn't stay there for a minute longer. I immediately hung the closed sign on the front door. Got into as I arrived home. I felt a sense of safety and relaxation, and I resolved that night that I would never work a night shift again, even if I had to find another job. I've been working the night shift at the petrol station for about a year now. It's not the nicest job, but it pays my low-paying expenses. The hours are long and the labor is monotonous. I considered quitting and finding work elsewhere several times, and this incident was my turning point. It was a typical night at the petrol station. I had just finished cleaning the pumps and restocking the shelves when I noticed the headlights of a car pulling into the lot. It was an old beat-up car with tinted windows. As the car approached the pump, I noticed that there was only one person. Inside, he got out and began walking up to the door. It was a man probably in his mid-30s with dark hair and a black leather jacket who looked like he hadn't slept in days. I greeted him with a smile and asked if he needed any help. He didn't say anything but just threw a 20 on the counter and went back out to fill up his tank. It was a bit rude, but that's normal when working at a gas station, especially late at night when nobody wants to talk. I knew he just put 20 bucks in, so he had to have finished a while ago. I waited a few minutes longer, then opened the door and began to inquire if he needed any assistance. But he just got back in his car and drove away. I ignored it and returned to the store. But as the night progressed, I began to notice that something was off. I'm not sure how else to describe the sensation. Nobody else was pulling in to get gas, and it was really quiet outside when I heard a noise coming from the back of a store. It sounded like a box falling off a shelf. I grabbed a flashlight and slowly made my way to the back of the store. As I turned the corner, there was a man standing there going through our inventory. He was tall and skinny and looked like he hadn't showered in weeks. I froze in fear, not knowing what to do. I could smell alcohol in his breath and knew he was dangerous money. "Where is it?" he said, slurring his words, sawing one of his hands. He had a switchblade, and with him being clearly drunk, I was really scared. I pointed towards the register, and he pushed me back to the counter as I was opening till the man wandered around the store. Making his way to the liquor section, he stashed a few expensive bottles in his backpack, then came back to the register being scarcely more than $100. The man stared at it, then at me. "Is this? I need more, man." He wasn't satisfied, but there was no more money to give. He flipped open his blade, waving it around and yelling at me. I was sure he was going to jump the counter and beat me to death. But then he suddenly swiped the cash and bolted out the door. My heart was pounding as I looked out the window, seeing that same beat-up car from earlier. The man got inside and they drove off. However, the cameras outside the building were able to pull a license plate from the car, and 4 days later I was informed that both men had been caught. Apparently they were homeless and had stolen the car. They then went on a crime spree, robbing as many stores as they could, mostly of food, drink, and money. I feel pretty lucky to have made it unharmed because their erratic behavior sent one worker to the hospital after an encounter with them. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe my channel if you haven't already. We'll be back with another video. See ya!